Hey classmates, this is Deanna.
Hey guys, this is Brett, and welcome back to episode 34 of Hard Lessons.
Way to be prepared.
I even have it written down here in front of me.
Yeah, you do.
I ain't the greatest.
No, we just had a lot going on.
It's been a busy couple of weeks, hasn't it? Sorry we didn't post an episode last week. Our daughter came into town, which meant our granddaughter was here, which meant Nani and Gru was busy.
Yeah.
And also, tell them what you did.
I hit a deer.
No, the deer hit you.
Technically, yeah. I think we hit each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite shocking, actually.
Had a little boo-boo with our Kia.
So. Yes, it looks pretty gnarly, or it did. Could have been way worse, though.
Could have been way.
I was fortunate to just have the damage I had, so.
Absolutely.
And it will be fixed and back home soon.
Hopefully by the time we record next week. Because we will record next week.
Yes. It's the 20th, right?
Next week?
Mm-hmm.
Someday this week. Thursday's the 20th. Yes, we'll record on the 20th.
Okay.
Right. I'm not sure what it is. Anyhow, I hope everybody has had a good Father's Day. Made lots of memories. And yeah, so other than hitting the deer, how was your week?
It was productive. I still haven't figured out how not to just sit and rest, because I got to be busy all the time.
Of course.
So, but the last, was it been 2 weeks since school's been out? 3.
Yeah, 3.
3 weeks? Yeah. I've gotten lots of stuff done.
Heck yeah. We got to spoil our grandbaby with some Barbie stuff.
Yes.
We got to take her to the carnival.
Yes.
We ate some fried burgers.
Absolutely. They are the best.
Had some homemade ice cream.
Oof. That was, you can't even put words on that.
And then walked around and watched her and Sam Burger ride rides.
Yeah, we did, which is also awesome.
Awesome. All right. So are you ready for the more you know?
The less I need in my brain? Yes.
Today's the more you know comes from the world of politics.
Oh, politics is not my cup of tea.
/ history.
Okay.
/ way to go women's rights.
Okie dokie.
So, Jeannette Rankin was a Republican from Montana.
Okay.
She was elected to Congress 4 years before women were given the right to vote.
So 4 years before the right to vote. That's been a while.
So, yes, ma'am, I have it written down right here. The 19th Amendment became part of the Constitution, which is what gave the women the right to vote in 1920.
Yes, sir.
And she was elected in 1916.
Whoa.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's the more we know.
That's the more you know.
Okay.
The first woman elected to Congress was 4 years before women could even vote. I wonder how
she got elected. There were some states that actually allowed apparently, because she got voted into Congress.
Had been some men voting
some,
for her.
Yeah, some women's rights already done. So.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
So are you ready to get started?
Hang on just a second. I am.
Teach decided to try to do some organization while we were getting ready.
Multitasking, and I need to put this away from me.
Because you won't leave it alone.
Because I won't leave it alone. This is our tax stuff, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Like, don't be doing that. All right.
You ready?
Yes. Classes in session.
All right, Teach. So 2 weeks ago, when we drew out of our handy-dandy little bowl that I thought I set down somewhere.
It's over here.
Okay. You drew unsolved crimes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Technically, according to the police department, this is solved.
Okay.
But according to other officials and higher ranking, like state police and stuff, it is unsolved. And we'll get into that in a little bit.
Okay.
So today we are going to talk about the Circleville Letters.
Okay.
Ever hear of it?
Apparently not. I'm dumbfounded.
All right. Remember a year or so ago, you and I watched the series on Netflix, The Watcher, where the family bought their home?
Yes.
And then they started getting the weird letters?
Yes.
This isn't that case, but this gives me some of the same vibes. So,
like you're being watched?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Circleville, Ohio.
Okay.
Is 30 minutes outside of Columbus, Ohio, where the Ohio State University is. And also, a friend of ours, Teresa, lives. Nice. So, hey, Teresa.
Hey.
It was a nice, peaceful little town. When this was occurring, which we'll get into later on in my notes, the population was just short of 12,000 people.
Okay.
Now it has a population between 14 to 15,000.
So it's grown a little.
Grown a little, not a whole lot. Did not seem like a place where neighbors would terrorize each other. However,
not with 2,000 people, but you never know.
12,000.
Now it's 12,000. I was thinking you were meant back then.
Oh yeah, no, back then it was 12,000. Now it's between 14 and 15.
Where did I get 2 at?
Because it grew 2,000, maybe, is what you were thinking?
I don't know. I got a 2.
You got a 2. Hey.
2.
In 1977, Circleville ISD bus driver Mary Gillespie received a letter.
Uh-oh.
And this is what the letter said.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Miss Gillespie, stay away from Massey. Don't lie when questioned about meeting him. I know where you live. I've been observing your house and know that you have children. This is no joke. Please take it serious. Everyone concerned has been notified and everything will be over soon.
Ooh, I would be freaking out.
So who is Massey?
Yes.
That would be the first question, right?
Well, yeah. My brain just figured she was driving a bus, so it has to be either a kid or a parent.
Gordon Massey.
Oh, okay.
Is the superintendent of Circleville ISD.
Uh-oh.
That never happens, does it? Being a teacher.
No.
There's never affairs going on at the workplace.
Never.
I mean, I work with a bunch of dudes, so there is no affairs going on with us.
Well, no.
Yeah. Some of them guys are pretty good. No. Hey, Robert.
Anyway, that is a totally different topic.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Massey is actually the superintendent of the school district, and she just so happens to drive a bus. Sounds like another story I've heard.
Uh-huh. Maybe a little more local.
Anyway,
Mary denies having any affair.
Okay.
I barely know Mr. Massey. I've seen him 4 or 5 times at tops.
Okay.
Ron Gillespie, who was Mary's husband,
Mm-hmm.
also started receiving letters.
Uh-oh.
One read, Mr. Gillespie, your wife is seeing Gordon Massey. You should catch them together and kill them. He doesn't deserve to live.
Does Mr. Massey have a wife? Maybe it's her. Or the secretary. Maybe the secretary's jealous or something.
Yeah, she wanted some of that. Well, she wanted some of that. Mary did have a theory of who she thought the letter writer was.
Okay.
Fellow bus driver David Longberry.
Okay.
David had made sexual advances towards Mary that she rejected, and he acted with resentment towards her ever since. So, Paul, who is the brother-in-law to the Gillespies, Ron and Mary Gillespie, Paul is married. Now, there's going to be a lot of people. I'm going to try to keep it separate.
Okay, please do, because I don't want to have to get out a family T chart here.
Right.
Okay, so Mary, and what's her husband's name?
Ron. They're the ones that started receiving them. And
okay, they received
a bunch
the
of folks in town start getting them after a while, but these are the ones that first got
the
them.
first ones. Okay.
Yes. So Paul is married to Ron's sister.
Okay.
Okay. So Paul wrote a letter to David telling him that they know it is him and that he needs to stop. So this worked for a little while. Letters stopped coming. Mary, like I said, denied the affair, but Paul received another letter. Nope, not Paul. Ron received, the husband of Mary, received another letter that said, Mr. Gillespie, you've had 2 weeks. I've left you alone, and you have done nothing. Admit the truth to your wife's affair and advise the school board. If not, I will broadcast this on CBs, on posters, signs, and billboards till the truth comes out.
Okay.
Mary continues to deny having the affair.
Oh, like if she did, she just needs to admit it now.
On an August evening in 1977, this time Ron didn't receive a phone call, a letter. He received a phone call.
Okay.
Nobody knows what was said on the phone call. A few moments later, Ron stormed out of the house carrying his .22 caliber revolver. Mary yelled after him, "Where are you going?" "I'm confronting the letter writer."
Doesn't he may need somebody there with him?
Well, you would think.
Well, I'd think it.
Not long after Ron left, his pickup slid off the road and ran into a tree, and Ron died at the scene.
So he didn't even make it there?
And here is a photo of Ron's pickup.
Whoa.
That was some heavy-duty tree.
Yeah, and they didn't make like light trucks back then either.
They did not. Looks like maybe that's a Ford.
It looks
and so, yeah.
Long bed.
Yes, ma'am.
Like that was a pretty big tree too.
It was. So we will be posting these on our social media pages, but basically the whole front end of the pickup is gone and caved in.
Yeah, he probably got right on impact.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't even make it there.
Did he or didn't he?
I don't know.
I don't either. But through the investigation, the police determined that Ron's gun had been fired. But
was he going home or going, like, what direction was this truck going?
Ron didn't have a bullet hole in him, and there's not a bullet hole in his vehicle anywhere.
Okay, so the gun had been shot.
The gun had been shot.
Okay. So who got shot? Nobody knows?
No, nobody ever came forward saying, "Hey, I've been shot."
They didn't find no dead body?
Mm-mm.
Maybe he just went out and shot a can or something.
He could have. Very well could have.
Or maybe that tree.
After Ron's death, Mary continued to receive letters.
That's terrible.
And after denying the affair all this time, she came clean to her sister-in-law, Ron's sister,
She
and
was.
said that she had been seeing Gordon Massey.
Oh my gosh. She flipping killed her husband.
Basically.
Oh my.
One of the first letters she received after her husband died said, "Everybody knows what you have done now. If you don't believe us, just make them mad and find out for yourself."
Make who mad?
I don't know. What I thought was interesting is all these other letters before made it sound like it was just one person. Now he's saying, if you don't believe us. So how many people are actually involved in this?
I don't know. I feel like there's like these little bitty gremlin things running around.
Yeah.
And writing these letters. And what is that Stephen King?
The Gremlins?
No, it's not Gremlins. It's a Stephen King. It's something about some town, and they start turning against each other. And
I don't know if this is it. There was a show on Hulu a few years ago. I believe it was a Stephen King about a town called Castle Rock.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. People just started kind of turning against each other.
Maybe so.
This is weird.
This
is giving me a creepy vibe.
It's going to get weirder.
Oh gosh.
The attacks continued and grew darker.
The letters?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just 6 years after Ron's death, Mary almost became a victim to the Circleville letter writer.
See, now I'm picturing she's at home and these people in black robes or something walking around her home. Oh my gosh.
Well, it was February of 1983, the early 80s. Greatest time to be a kid. Not so great if you lived in Circleville, Ohio, but a great time to be a kid. Mary suddenly stopped her bus one morning after seeing a homemade sign targeting her teenage daughter.
Uh-oh.
She tried to pull the sign down, but she noticed that it was tied to a box. So instead of pulling on it, she just gathered up the box and the sign and took it back to her house.
Was it a bomb?
Once she got home, she called the police, and they opened up the box, and that sign that had the rope that was tied to the box was inside the box was a gun that it was tied to the trigger, so if she would have pulled it off,
it would have
shot her.
It's the wife
of Gordon Massey.
Uh-huh.
This could have been horrible.
Well, yeah, especially, I mean, even a cop opened it.
Mm-hmm. Thankfully he didn't pull on the rope.
No. I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah.
This is very weird. I don't like it.
But it did give the police their first big break in the case.
Because of the gun?
The serial number on the gun.
Registration.
Came back to Paul, the brother-in-law.
Oh my gosh.
The husband of Ron's sister.
Yes.
So
he's been the one?
He
what? Did you lose your place?
Yes, I did. Paul Freshour is his last name. His wife's name is Karen Sue Freshour. And Karen, after finding out that the serial number did come back to Paul, told authorities that, I've been finding letters. I just found some letters hidden in our home.
Now,
on a side note, Paul and Karen Sue were going through a very nasty divorce at this time also.
Oh my gosh. The circle just keeps going.
Doesn't it, though?
Okay.
Paul denied writing the letters and said that the gun had been stolen several weeks before this incident.
And yet you didn't report it?
However, He did not report it.
Nope. That's a sorry excuse. Several weeks, could have been 6 months.
It could have been. Now, even though he did not report it, he did allow police to search his car and home, which they found nothing.
Well, of course not.
Mm-mm. Paul was asked to perform handwriting samples, and he also failed a polygraph, which polygraphs, I can't remember which podcast. I want to say it was Morbid, but they said that a polygraph is about as useful as putting a tuxedo on a pig. And like I said, I want to say it was Morbid, but I don't remember. I can't give credit to who it was. But
so it's not very credible.
Polygraphs are not very credible, not very useful, and nowadays are not admissible in court.
Then why keep doing them?
It's a tool that is used, and just like in the Chris Watts case, he could have said no, I'm not going to do a polygraph, and they would have been like, okay. I mean, but somebody that doesn't know the law, that is guilty, once they say, oh crap, I failed it, then they'll, okay, this is what happened.
Oh, so they think it's a real deal.
Yeah. So then they can't use the polygraph, but they can say the use of the polygraph led to the confession.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anybody thinking of breaking the law or anything, always ask for an attorney.
Okay.
Yeah. Just saying.
Okay, so he failed the polygraph. He did a handwriting sample.
I gave him a handwriting sample.
Now, can you change up your handwriting so it looks totally different than other things you can?
I think so, but there's still little details. It's always going to be the same.
Okay.
You know, I went to one handwriting analysis class when I was in law enforcement, and so there's always going to be like me, I always write in capital letters. Mm-hmm. So I might change up how I do certain letters, but it's always going to be capital.
Okay.
So
why do you even do that?
I've done this since I was a kid. I don't know.
Okay. You didn't get in trouble at school for writing all in caps?
Mm-mm.
I'd be like, we don't write in all caps.
Nowadays, teachers would probably be like, why are you yelling on your paperwork?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
After turning in his handwriting analysis or his samples, Paul was arrested and charged with attempted murder.
If they couldn't prove it.
Right, but still.
Okay.
They had enough proof. I mean, the gun was registered to him. So sad that you didn't call and report it. But right now, this is the evidence that we have.
Okay. Makes sense.
During the trial, a handwriting expert testified under oath that he believed Paul to be the Circleville writer. Said there was enough consistency
for it to be true.
That he feels it to be true.
With what percentage?
That he didn't say, no ma'am.
Okay. So
after the trial, Paul was found guilty and sentenced to 25 years in prison for attempted murder.
Okay. Well, wow.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Early 1980s. Okay. 1984 is when he began his prison sentence. So citizens of Circleville started breathing a sigh of relief. Letters are going to stop.
I know what this is reminding me of.
What's this reminding you of, Teach?
The town that dreaded sundown.
Ah, that's such a classic.
That flipping scares me.
We need to find it.
We do. It scares me. I can remember watching it. Woo! I think Ben Johnson played in it.
I believe so. However, they did not stop. Mm-hmm. Even with Paul in prison. Paul even received a letter. Mm-hmm. You want to know what it said?
What?
Now, when are you going to believe that you aren't going to get out of there? I told you 2 years ago when we set you up that you stay set up.
Somebody set him up? Holy cow. Okay, who? Like, you better not be freaking done.
No, I'm not.
Okay, like I'm gonna hurt you.
Now, several of the letters that citizens in Circleville started receiving could not have been written by Paul.
No, because
he was in solitary confinement when he first went into prison, and they're not allowed paper, pen, or even to receive mail.
well, exactly, and it's not like they're not gonna read the letter before you mail it out.
Exactly. According to the warden, as a matter of fact, this proves that Paul is innocent and he should be released immediately.
Yep.
Letters became more cruel. One accused the prosecuting attorney of murdering a pregnant woman.
Oh my gosh, they're just making up lies.
Another accused the sheriff of the county, named Dwight Radcliffe, of covering up Ron Gillespie's death. Remember, back in the 70s, Ron Gillespie died.
Mm-hmm.
Car crash.
Yep.
Sheriff Radcliffe thought that at first, when he pulled up onto the scene of Ron's accident, that foul play was involved. However, they did have a person of interest. I don't know if it was a witness or what, because this person never was identified.
Of course not.
He passed a polygraph. And when Ron's autopsy came back, it showed a blood alcohol level of 0.16. However,
he never drank.
He never drank and he very seldom drank, according to family and friends. And that night, he did not have a drink at all.
Well, then how did he get the blood alcohol in him?
I don't know, unless maybe...
How long was he gone?
Less than an hour before the accident happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
To get that drunk?
And I don't know, unless the Circleville rider poured it into the system, or I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, but despite all that, Sheriff Ratcliffe and the coroner ruled his death as an accident caused by drunk driving. So Sheriff Ratcliffe started getting letters accusing him of covering up.
Okay, yeah.
So the years go by. People are still receiving letters. Paul has been described as being a model inmate. He had 0 infractions on him. Had anytime he was asked to do anything, he did it without griping. And several prison officials even came out and said, "We don't believe the man was guilty to begin with." And so after serving 10 years of his 25-year sentence, Paul was released in 94 on parole. And Paul continued to maintain his innocence. One of my favorite TV shows back in the late 80s up through the early 90s came on Wednesday nights on NBC, Unsolved Mysteries.
Mm-hmm. It's a good show.
When you hear that music playing, you see Robert Stack walk out.
Mm-hmm.
They learned about the Circleville Letters, and they went to Circleville to do their own investigation. Not long after leaving, guess what they got?
Letters.
They started getting letters.
So this person was sending Unsolved Mysteries letters. Oh my gosh.
Forget Circleville, Ohio. Do nothing to hurt Sheriff Radcliffe. If you come back to Ohio, you sickos will pay. Signed, the Circleville Rider. Circleville Rider had the tea, though. Remember me telling you about the prosecutor that received a letter and saying that he murdered a pregnant woman?
Mm-hmm.
That prosecutor is Roger Klein, and he did have an affair with a lady that was pregnant and ended up murdered, and the baby was his after testing and everything came out. How did the writer know this?
So the writer told that to Unsolved Mysteries?
No, the writer wrote a letter to several people in town, like influential people, saying Roger Klein, the prosecutor, murdered a pregnant woman.
Hey.
He didn't murder her, but a murdered pregnant woman was pregnant with his baby that he had been having an affair with.
Okay, so he didn't murder her.
Correct.
But she was murdered and pregnant with his baby.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Also, Dr. Ray Carroll, he performed the autopsy on Ron Gillespie way back in 1977. Several letters were written to the CEO of the hospital that Dr. Carroll worked at, to the county commissioners because he contracted out the county to do the autopsies. Several letters were written claiming that he was a pedophile.
Wow. That's a pretty severe claim.
In 1993, Dr. Carroll was arrested and charged with 12 counts of gross immorality, sex crimes, corruption of a minor, child pornography possession, obscenity, and indecent exposure.
So after these letters go out, these people are investigated.
And like he knew, whoever he or she knew Mary was having a...
I know. This is why it's like it's got to be somebody that
is in the know. They got the tea. They got the gossip.
Yep.
Now, unfortunately, in 2012, Paul died at the age of 70 of a heart attack. He proclaimed his innocence up until the end. But according to the Circleville PD, the case is closed.
But did they stop? The letter stopped when Paul stopped?
No, they continued when he went to prison. They continued when he get Unsolved Mysteries came after.
Yeah.
So the letters continued.
But the PD is still blaming him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that's stupid.
It is.
Y'all need to pull your heads out.
Now, the letters did stop in 2005. Nobody's received one since then. The one...
I thought you just... Oh, no, he died in 2012. Okay.
Yeah, he died in 2012, but nobody received a letter after 2005.
Okay. I'd be like, okay, who's died?
Yeah. One theory that is floating around suggests that several different people wrote letters. But if that's the case, then why did they stop? Maybe one of the letter writers died, but if several people was doing it, then why did it stop altogether?
Maybe the ringleader died and they were like, I don't want to do this. It's not as fun anymore.
This is true.
You know, testing came out. I mean, they could do a whole lot more with paper testing and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, ma'am. Here's an example of one of the letters. Please, let's keep the letter writer happy. You have been watched. Failure to comply, and you shall suffer. No one can help. No one can protect you. Obey, obey. Get Mr. Massey elected to some type of office, or you will surely pay, and the town of Circleville shall too. It is on you. So now, instead of wanting to expose Massey, they're wanting to get him elected to some type of office.
Okay. Did he get elected?
No, ma'am.
What happened?
I don't know. Nothing else was ever really said about Massey.
Okay.
Here's another one.
So, like, literally in 2005, it just stops.
Stop.
Oh my gosh.
Here's another one. This is your last chance to report him. I know you are a pig and will prove it. And shame you out of Ohio. Only a pig sneaks around and meets other women's husbands.
Okay. What if it was kids? Like teenagers?
Yeah.
Nobody pays attention to teenagers.
No, they don't.
I mean, beauticians.
They get all the gossip.
They do. I'm like, oh.
I wonder how many beauty shops was in Circleville, Ohio.
I don't know, but I mean it.
Teresa, I need you to report in.
And I hate to say it, but there's a lot of gossipers in churches.
True.
I don't know, but that's just weird that it just completely stops. And poor old Mr. Gillespie, like, that's a complete mystery.
Mm-hmm. Now, another theory was that it was Gillespie's sister, Karen,
the whole time,
and because she had a new man who drove an El Camino.
Okay.
And remember back when Mary was almost booby trapped to death with that sign?
With that sign, yeah.
Somebody witnessed an El Camino driving away from there about 45 minutes before Mary got there. Now, is it the same El Camino? I don't know. But Karen is married, going through the divorce with Paul. So she's going to have access to that gun. Paul says my gun was stolen.
Yeah.
So that's one of the theories, that it could have been Karen and her new man. But and saying that, when we set you up, you stay set up. What are you gonna do from prison?
Yeah. And that's it? Like it's over?
I mean, yeah, that's it. That's the case. That is the Circleville Letters. Apparently it's solved. I don't think it's solved. I don't think Paul did it. Paul was a smart man. He had a degree from Ohio State University in some kind of science. He worked at a brewery there in Ohio as the head brewer, so he wasn't a dummy.
So he could have got Paul drunk. Ron, whoever.
Yeah.
Ron drunk. That's what I meant.
Okay. He could have. I mean, and
maybe
Paul
they were just like chilling and like, let's just have you. We're just gonna calm down.
Mm.
But if you don't drink, I mean, 2 beers, you're done.
Yeah. Or like me, 1 beer, and I'm like, hey, go get some Snickers.
I don't know. You just get weird. I don't like it.
I don't really either. So that is the Circleville Letters. They claim it's solved. It's not solved. I don't feel.
The letters stopped in 2005.
Mm-hmm. Paul died.
Paul couldn't have written those from prison because they would have read his letters.
Exactly. And when he first went in and the letters were still coming out, he was in solitary confinement, so he didn't have pen and paper.
He couldn't do it. They just wanted to say, okay, we're done.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, Teach, what grade do I get this week?
I would have to give you another A.
I am on a roll.
Because that is like, what?
I found one that you had never heard of.
If I did, it wasn't very catching.
Right.
It wasn't memorable.
Well, here is my bibliography before I forget to give that, because I have forgot to give it in the past.
Okay.
ThoughtCatalog.com, the creepy letters that exposed a town's juiciest secrets and led to murder.
Ooh.
CBSNews.com, the Circleville Letters, You've Got Hate Mail. These are some good article titles.
Yeah, they are.
AllThat'sInteresting.com, Inside the Eerie Mystery of the Circleville Letters that terrorized an Ohio town for nearly 20 years. And Parade.com. That's what this Parade.com is where I found
the pictures.
No, the article.
Oh, okay.
Or found out about the article was, beware, these 50 strange unsolved mysteries of all time are seriously spooky. Yes. So that's where I found out about the Circleville Letters.
It's also like that show that we were watching, The Stranger, where that girl just pops up out of nowhere and tells these people certain bits of information.
Based out of England?
Yes, or something. Did you know there was another one? They have more on there.
There's more seasons?
I think so.
Can we go watch?
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty cool.
So what am I reporting on next week?
You are reporting on serial killer.
Oh, I got one in mind.
Nice. I hope it's a good, juicy, freaky one.
I wish you wouldn't have said juicy.
Oh, is this the one that fed people out of his taco truck or something?
No, I'm not going to do that. This one's from here in Texas, actually.
Oh, gross.
I figured I'd do a homegrown serial killer.
Homegrown? Was he born and raised in Lubbock, Texas?
Nope.
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 Okay, good, because that would be freaky.
Yeah.
Paducah! Because, like from the moment you hit right outside of Childress, Lord, all them stories. That's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh my gosh, back over in there is where that house was.
Yeah, that's allegedly where it was.
Because I'm under the impression it was down south somewhere.
Right.
Could it even be true?
Well, the Leatherface is based off Ed Gein. So
I know it, but
parts of it's true.
But it's not flipping true. I don't even know when that story began, but let's move on with our lives.
So next week we'll have a serial killer.
Dun, dun, dun.
In between now and then, classmates, I know we haven't said this in a while, but if y'all could give us a rate and a review wherever you listen to us, it helps others find us. Folks, when a new restaurant opens up, they really don't like going out trying it until they get on Yelp, and then they read about it and they're, okay, well, all these people are saying it's pretty good. So if y'all could do us a favor, whether it's on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, or YouTube now, rate and review us, please. Help others find us, help us grow, so we can continue to get better and better, because right now we really stink at this.
We don't stink.
Well, we don't stink, but I mean, we're not the
box of oddities,
man,
or morbid, or that's why we drink.
We may get to see them live this fall. They're going to be in Austin in November.
Oh.
November 9th, Austin, Texas. So, Aliqua, you available?
Really?
Maybe do a
little... Are there tickets on sale?
I think so. Maybe do a little Hard Lessons, Nosy Nancy's collab while we're down there.
Oh, that would be fun.
Wouldn't it, though?
What is that show? Is it on Peacock or Paramount? Peacock, the podcast show that we were watching.
Based on a true story?
Yes. Yeah. I could just so see that happening. Wouldn't that be fun?
That'd be fun.
Not really to meet a serial killer. I don't want to do that, but...
No.
No, please. Yeah.
Aliqua, Jazz, let's make this happen.
Heck yeah.
All right, classmates. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Hard Lessons TCP. Yep, TCP. Instagram, same deal, Hard Lessons TCP. You want to get a hold of us, send us a message on either Facebook or Instagram, and we'll see y'all next week.
All right. Class is dismissed.